This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Listeners jumping on in Rochester and San Jose, 96.5 WCMF Rochester's Classic Rock, and 98.5 KFOX, the South Bay's Classic Rock in lovely San Jose, California. And our listeners listening at 105.7 The X Rockin' in Peoria, Illinois. Big show for you today is Ryan Castle, Drunk at Charge, coming in to sit and spin. And today we have the cost of meeting 10 very popular and some not so much artists backstage, but believe it or not, there's a price tag associated with going backstage, and you can do it if you have enough money to spend, and it's all a bit different. So Ryan's got that coming up. And the word has more American phrases that other countries don't understand. Our question, who was looking for what and why, before we went to the break there, talking to Autumn, and Autumn said that she did not know who her father was up until about, what'd you say, 4 months ago?
Yeah, about 4 months.
All right, and let me just backtrack a little bit here. So what was the big break? You said you did not know his name, or when you went and looked for that name, they said that name did not exist. So was that his real name that he gave your mother?
It actually was. So I've looked for that name before on the internet, on Facebook primarily, and pretty much the only men that would show up were a bunch of black men. Apparently,
yeah, mama.
Well, what was the guy? What was his?
Yeah.
Was he a Smith? Were you looking? Were you looking for White Lamar?
I am white as snow, so the possibility of my father being a black male is highly unlikely. But she had divulged to me that his family was from Florida and that he was in the Navy, which she had never told me before. And I scrolled down a little bit and I found this older white gentleman with the same name living in Florida. And I thought, no way. So I went onto his Facebook. It's mostly private. And I saw there was a photo of some young man way back when. You could tell it was like a vintage military photo. And a bunch of people were saying, thank you for your service. So I could tell that the photo was of this guy when he was younger. And, I reached out to him, kind of explained that.
Wait a minute. You didn't show the picture to your mom and go, hey, is that my dad?
Well, I was texting with my best friend at the time about the situation. I was texting my mom about something completely different. And I took his photo of when he was a younger guy in the military, and I put it next to mine, and it's really crazy how identical they are. And I texted it to my friend and realized that I actually sent it to my mom, and she messaged me back and said, where did you find that?
In your mattress, Mom. Right by some old crusty toy.
So that was kind of confirmation that that's who he was, and so that's when I decided to reach out to this guy and told him, hey, I think you're my dad. If you're not interested in finding that out, cool, but I just basically want medical information, and we've been talking from there.
Okay,
and
how's it been? What kind of person has he been?
He seems like he's been a pretty good guy. He's looks like he followed through with the military, got out. Now he lives in Florida. He's got a couple of kids of his own down there, and that's kind of where we're at.
Okay, it doesn't surprise me he ended up in Florida. I figured at the border, you know what I mean? They should be Florida. Like, all right, why are you running here?
Right.
What? Oh, she spooked you, huh? Told you she was pregnant. All right, welcome.
Welcome to Florida.
That's right. Here, lovely Gainesville.
So do you think you're going to get to, you guys are going to try to meet each other?
Yeah, I think so. We're, taking things kind of slow and figuring it out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, congratulations, man. I'm glad you got that done.
Thanks.
They did that when you move into Washington State up here. They say, why are you here? Who'd you kill? What are you running from?
Right.
Who's smuggling you across the border? Did you kill just a few people or a whole bunch?
Do you think that private detectives have been put out of business because of Facebook?
I think it definitely helps
when
you have the time to be able to do your own detective work. I think it's different.
But the difference is, like you said, you have time to do your own detective work. If it's quote-unquote old-school detective work, no, because physically you have to go places. With Facebook, you could find time. You could do it while you eat dinner at home. You could do it while you lay in bed.
I think if you had access to messages and things that people did privately on Facebook, that you could do it quicker. But I think that
but what I'm
if
saying
you're
is,
a criminal, you can be caught on Facebook.
I just think that no point in human history has it been like if you truly endeavor to try to find someone, has a Facebook and all the social media and all this kind of stuff, I think it just makes it considerably easier. I mean, she did it herself, which is crazy.
Sure.
Like, I just went to Facebook. I know it's not quite that easy, but in the end, that was pretty much it.
That's it.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Who was looking for what and why? 844-999-OLA. Interesting story. I hope it works out.
Let's change the name. The Father Finder.
I couldn't remember. Did he know?
He knows that call's coming one day.
But I mean, you have to know, like, you'd also have to know you got the woman pregnant.
She told him.
That's
If the mother's to be believed, like she said,
Yeah.
I'm pregnant. Then the smoke bomb dropped, and bam, next thing you know, he's in Florida.
Florida, here I come.
I always wonder, like,
Sunshine State.
that one, like, did somebody show up like, hey, I'm like, I did not even know she was pregnant. Good to meet you.
Oh, you're saying for you?
Well, just in general.
And one Father's Day, the phone rings.
That was convincing. That was very, very convincing.
No
well, the
name
thing
on
is, you wouldn't know, right?
That's what I'm
Because as
saying,
far as
right?
you know, there's never been a problem. So it could be, Ted, it's going to sound horrible coming out of my mouth. It's going to sound terrible. And I don't want you to be mad. Like, I just desperately, like 20 years from now, it happens. I'm your daughter.
No!
That'd be alarming.
Yeah, you'd be wondering why you missed
But
all
wait.
that time.
My twin is parking the car. Think about that, man. Like, so it's one thing if you say, hey, man, my long lost kid. It's another thing if you find out, like, oh, my God, they had triplets. Right?
Wow,
'Cause,
yeah.
I mean, has that happened to anyone? Like, no, man, it's not like you fathered a kid. Like, there's 3 of them.
I'm just
3
saying,
of
like,
them.
it should take me out of it, but I'm saying, like, this has to have happened, right?
What do you mean? Just
Like, where
someone.
people, like, somebody comes to find you and they didn't even know they had the kid.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure, man. I think people have to get blindsided by that. Like, what? But I think the few times I've heard that it's ever happened, I'm like, what are you talking about? And then when they mention a mother's name, that's generally like, oh, man, I didn't even know.
Half the time it's busted just based on the fact that you need something medically. And
Oh, sure, man.
whatever
Well,
that
that's for
is,
your
like,
family
yeah,
history.
then you look at something and you go like, well, that's not that doesn't make sense. There's something that
Right.
Yeah.
There's no history of this in your family and all
or
that kind of stuff.
whatever the deal is. Who was looking for what and why? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Chris. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Hey, what's up, guys? You enjoying the heat?
Loving it.
Hell yeah, man.
It's a chilly 32. This is a repeat from February.
All right, so this happened about 5 or 6 years ago. My grandfather had died, and we were cleaning out his storage room. We found a trunk full of my great-grandfather's old Navy uniforms and such, and it had a bunch of newspaper clippings of the Pearl Harbor attacks, the original newspaper reports from Honolulu, Hawaii. And so my mom decided to repurpose that trunk and lost them. I've been looking for them ever
Oh, you got to be kidding
you're
me.
kidding me.
By the way, when you say your grandfather's Old Navy uniform, I pictured him working at the store Old Navy. That's just the first thing that crossed my mind.
He was in one of those hipster commercials with Betty White.
Yeah, he was.
Dancing with her.
They opened their first Pearl Harbor location.
Wait. She knows what the hell she did with them. She knows if she took them to Goodwill or not. She's just not telling you.
No, I found all the uniforms and stuff.
Right.
I can't find the newspaper clippings, and those are what I really want.
She threw them away.
Did she know those things were in there?
She just didn't have the heart to tell you. She knows.
I don't think she knew they were in there because she transported the whole thing into some kind of storage container, and it's in her garage somewhere.
So you think that the newspaper's in her garage somewhere?
Yeah, probably. I just need to find it, but this thing's packed to the walls.
All right. Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah. All right. Well.
They're somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be pretty interesting, man. I'm guessing, did you read these newspaper clips in the moment that you had to see them?
Yeah, well, I knew they were there. I've seen them. I've held them. I put them back in. This was years ago, but I haven't seen them since.
Okay.
I just know that they're there.
God forbid, and I hate, golly, I don't even want to think about this. This is an awful thought to have, but God forbid, either one of your parents or grandparents die, but if you are the person that has to go through their stuff, and you think that you know this person very well.
Oh, there's going to be a bunch of
I
surprises.
don't think you're going to know this person as well as you thought. Not that you don't, there'll be things that you did not know about them. Not that you did not know them well, but there'll be things that you find that you did not know.
And you'll be happier that you didn't. I get the feeling when you make these discoveries,
some might be bad. But
I didn't need to know this. I didn't need to know that. You know what I mean? Like, that's
don't know.
great. I
Yeah.
don't care, but I didn't need to know this, and that's probably why they didn't share.
Yeah, but some of them, like nothing I find in my dad's house, I'm the executive of his will, is going to shock me.
It's going to. Well,
So it's not
maybe
gonna
you don't
shock
know.
you.
No.
Maybe he
There's gonna be
saved
some old porn
maybe,
magazines. There'll be some weird ass in
Maybe
there.
he saved something like from when you were a baby and you never knew it. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, Miles,
maybe there's
come
like,
on the other
maybe there's
side.
like a little baggie that says Ted's tooth on it or something. Something crazy. Like, oh my God, he saved one of my teeth.
I guarantee you my mom has all of that.
She has all the teeth.
Well, I'm just
As
saying,
part of the
one of my
divorce
parents
settlement.
did, yeah.
I get the
she would have
teeth.
the teeth.
I didn't want the teeth.
She
I
keeps
get the
everything.
No way. I didn't save the teeth.
No.
Dude, I'm just being like,
Right,
she
right,
just
right,
cuts
right,
lots of
No,
stuff.
No, some people say
But
the
that's what I
teeth,
mean.
man.
When
Like,
you
don't
find
show
it-
it like a bolt, and you're like, what are these, man? They
look,
go like,
man.
oh, that's like Jeffrey's teeth. And you're like, dude, Jeffrey's my coworker. You know what I mean? Like, he's 38 years old. Why do you, oh, wow.
I wouldn't be
Reminds us of
surprised.
him being a baby.
I wouldn't be
People still
surprised.
bronze the shoes. That was my mom's
I
big
haven't
thing.
seen it. God, that was a weird thing
Like
when we
the
were a
little baby
kid.
shoes were bronze.
Does
Well,
anybody,
no.
no one actually buys baby shoes anymore, right? If you're not
It's-
getting your kid baptized or something.
It's a one-shot deal. So if you have 3 kids, you do it the first time, and then the other 2.
The other
Like,
2 kids,
It's like the
like,
baby
right.
book or whatever. Like, by the time, like, your brother will have one. You won't have one. Your sister won't have one.
Well, my brother has
He'll
a lot
have
of
all the
photos,
pictures.
but I got bronze
Right,
shoes.
Yeah, he'll
You
the
have bronze
pictures.
shoes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Both
Well,
of
at
them?
least you got those.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't be surprised if my mom has teeth.
really? Is your mom like a tooth collector?
No, I just wouldn't be. It wouldn't shock me if I went through stuff and be like, "Oh, here's your sister's teeth." I'd be like, "Oh God!"
Right.
You're like, why did you keep that?
A lot of people keep hair from their kids'
Right.
first haircut,
Lock
man.
of hair.
And it's just weird because some people like put it in a bag and you be at their place, man, and you're like, hey man, look, I gotta ask you a question. There's a bag of hair. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's a really odd thing. They're like,
I think it'd be weirder to cut
that's
it. I think it'd
Denise's
be-
first
I think
haircut.
it'd be
And again,
weird.
I'm like, Denise is 28 years old, man.
And then you could cut it out of the casket, and match them up. Like,
But and what
why
kid
would-
wants
what's the
that?
purpose?
Like, I'm never going to be like,
Who
oh,
you
thanks
get-
for
right.
keeping my teeth.
Who are you going to
Right.
give this to? Thank you for giving me my first afro.
Who was looking for what and why? 844-999-OLM. Where your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Little different than Autumn's story. A man's quest to find his biological parents unearthed disturbing secrets about the family he says left him abandoned in a shopping center before he was given to another couple. Paul Franzak grew up in Chicago with his parents, Dora and Chester Franzak, and his brother Dave. When Paul was 10, he stumbled upon a newspaper clipping and learned a secret. He had been kidnapped as a baby. Dora and Chester told Paul that in 1964, when he was 1 day old, he was snatched from a Chicago hospital. The couple said they were reunited with him 2 years later when police in New Jersey found a 2-year-old boy who resembled their son abandoned in a shopping center. Because of the lack of DNA and there only being one picture of Paul from when he was born, there was no way for Dora and Chester to know for sure if the toddler found alone in a shopping center was actually their son. Paul is now a 54-year-old father of one, and he said that he resembled the missing baby that his parents took him in, and they tried to move on from the abduction, just basically saying, okay, this must be our son. There was no accurate DNA test back then, so there's nothing that the Franzaks could have done to be 100% certain that the boy that they were given was their actual son, Paul. Paul, however, said he always had doubts that Dora and Chester were in fact his biological parents, and in 2012, he approached them about his suspicions. Paul said he grabbed an over-the-counter DNA testing kit and asked his parents if they wanted to know the truth about his identity. He told the parents at first that he wanted to do this, and Dora and Chester were then on board and swabbed their cheeks for the kit. Apparently, his parents later changed their mind and asked Paul not to send the kit off. Well, Paul said he'd send it anyway and found that there was no way that Dora and Chester were his parents. Paul said his parents at that point stopped talking to him for a year because he ignored their wishes, but he now wanted to know who his real family was, so he hired a genetic genealogist to track down his biological mom and dad. C.C. Moore, the genealogist that Paul hired, said that she matched Paul's DNA to an enormous database comprised of users of popular kits like the Ancestry DNA and 23andMe kit.
Yeah.
From there, we worked with family trees of those who shared DNA with Paul. By studying these trees, we were able to start to reverse engineer his family tree. And it was a huge relief when we were finally able to give him an answer. In 2015, Moore was able to track down Paul's real identity. He is Jack Rosenthal. Paul said he reached out to the Rosenthal family and then learned some dark secrets about his biological parents. According to Paul, his biological mother was an alcoholic, and his biological father was a disturbed veteran. Both are now dead. Paul said family members told him that he had a twin sister named Jill who went missing after allegedly being neglected by his biological parents.
Oh, it gets worse.
The Rosenthal family never learned what happened to Jill, and she still remains missing. Paul said one cousin told him that his biological parents would keep himself and Jill in a cage when they were babies. Other family members told Paul that he and his sister were constantly crying. Paul still doesn't know how he ended up alone at the shopping center, but believes something tragic happened to Jill, and his biological parents abandoned him to try to cover it up. I had expected to feel absolute elation when I finally learned my true identity, he said. But that's not what happened, because in the very next breath, I learned that I also had a twin sister who was then missing. He added, only reason I started this journey was to find my parents' kidnapped son, Paul. If I found out who I was in the process, that was a bonus. Let's go back to Paul. Remember,
Right.
Paul was kidnapped when Paul was 1 day old. The parents took him in as Paul, thinking that he could possibly fill that void, even though they were pretty sure he wasn't their son. Either way, there was their son out there somewhere.
And he's still out there somewhere.
He's still out there somewhere. Paul said Jill's whereabouts remain a mystery. The real Paul Frosnack has also never been found. He said private investigators believe they've tracked down bodies that could possibly belong to Jill and Dora and Chester and the biological son. Paul said he's planning on exhuming the bodies to find out the truth. Our best lead regarding the real Paul Frosnick involves someone who unfortunately passed away many, many years ago in Texas. Our question, who was looking for what and why? 844-999-OLA.
That is crazy. On that tip, though, we're talking about Facebook, and Autumn had called and said after 15 years of searching, she was able to find her father, basically did it herself through Facebook. So a couple comments come, and it says, I'm Damien. I also found my dad after 36 years on Facebook. Did not end well. I met my biological dad on Facebook. We've been talking for about a year. He never even knew I existed. I'm 46.
Wow.
Dang.
So that does happen. And then as far as people that keep teeth and stuff like that.
All right.
The Teeth Keepers.
That's actually what I put here as a note to let me know the teeth keepers. That is exactly it. I have some of my kids' teeth. They're 22 and 18 years old. They think it's gross. I laugh. I'm one of 12 kids, and my mom saved all of our baby teeth.
Okay.
All of them. We're not done. My wife keeps my kids' teeth. Here's the one. My wife kept our first son's circumcision penis ring until I found it. Nasty, all crusty, black dead skin on it. Gross.
I think the teeth would be cool, like in one of those Yahtzee
Why
things
would
where
you
you
do
shake
that?
up.
Like, teeth make more sense than a penis ring. Oh, it's from our son's circumcision. Like, you wanted to remember that?
I just have a rule. If it comes out of a body, don't keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's generally...
I wanted everybody
Right?
to see his girth. I was proud when he was born.
That's his penis ring right there.
Look at that. Bigger than a lot of, adult men I've met. Who is looking for what and why? 844-999-OLA.
And if people generally keep something that comes out of a body, it's got to be in a bank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
I feel,
eggs
all
or
right.
sperm,
Right.
all
Eggs
this
or
stuff.
sperm, right? Like, you don't keep stuff that comes out of bodies. Like, there's a reason it's out of your body.
Brain
Yeah.
bank.
It's like, don't eat a booger. Your body's trying to get rid of it.
Organ bank.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't pop a pimple into your mouth. Well, you have, Miles, but that's different. That was a blister,
Yeah,
not a
and you
pimple.
bit it.
Entirely
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
And it landed on everyone's food.
I needed the money.
Hello, Anna. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So a couple years ago, my best friend was watching my daughter while I was at work, and my daughter wandered off from my best friend and took us about 4 hours to find her.
Your best friend is there to babysit. And how old was your daughter? You said 4 years old?
No, she was 8.
Eight. Oh, okay. Was your friend watching her in your residence or in your friend's?
Well, we were roommates at the time, and our apartment was right next to the playground. And she had told my daughter, you can go out in the playground and play with the little kids out there, but when they go inside, you need to come back in. So about an hour goes by, and Abby doesn't come in, and so she goes out to the playground to check on her, make sure everything's okay. And the little girls that she was playing with, I guess, had left. And
and Abby was nowhere to be found. So she calls me up at work saying, hey, Abby's missing.
Man, oh man, that's a heavy phone call.
Yeah.
Oh, I went from 0 to crazy in half a second.
Oh, sure.
I've seen that.
And so I'm flying out of work. I've got the police on the phone. I'm trying to remember the last thing she was wearing. I'm scrolling through, seeing if I have any recent pictures. And about 4 hours later.
Oh, my. That's a long time.
Yeah. These people who lived across the street from the apartment complex come walking up with my daughter saying, hey, yeah, so she was just wandering around out here, and so we bought her lunch, gave her some McDonald's, and she showed us where she lived.
Oh, well, it sounds to me like she had a lovely afternoon because you were going to take her to McDonald's.
To me, it sounds like she negotiated.
Yeah,
like, listen,
I'm going to go find somebody who'll take me out for fast food.
I will tell you where I live, but you will take me to McDonald's
It's like
first.
finding somebody who has change for the ice cream man. You know what I mean?
What had happened was after her friends had gone inside, she saw the other kids playing across the street, so she went to go play with them because in her mind, that's what you do.
Yeah.
And I was freaking out because this was the same year that a little 6-year-old girl that didn't live too far from me was kidnapped and murdered.
Jeez. Oh, boy. Well, then you have reason to worry. Absolutely. I mean, not that it can't happen randomly, but most of the time that's
well,
not the
yeah,
case.
but when that's more top of mind, and then your kid's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now she knows that if she's going to go someplace, she just has to tell everybody where she's headed, right?
Oh, damn it.
Oh, that's the moral of the story, I think.
Actually, I think what she really learned is, hey, man, walk up to strangers, say you're lost, you can get McDonald's.
McDonald's.
I'm completely coherent. I know exactly where I live. I know my name. I'm not even panicked. I'm not lost, but I'm going to tell you I'm lost. Yeah, give me 2 cheeseburgers,
Exactly.
a 6-piece McNugget,
right now.
chocolate shake, and a large fry. Yeah, I live at 1718 Main Street, brah.
You're in such trouble you don't get dinner tonight. It's okay because I'm all full on a Big Mac and nuggets, Mom.
They're going to start putting posters of that kid up. Like,
play with his toy, I
do
got
not
my
take
Happy Meal."
this lost child to McDonald's.
Yeah.
They know goddamn well where they live.
I was going to say, that's why kids are funny, too, right? So, like, I would walk off or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I also knew not to talk to strangers. And I remember
Sure.
watching a guy in a car next to me hammering down 2 Big Macs. Right? And he was just like, hey, man, what's going on? And then finally he comes out and goes, good kid, doesn't talk to strangers. But to this day, like, I was a child. I just remember being like, that guy ate 2 Big Macs.
Well, how cool.
Like, as an adult, I could do that now.
Oh, yeah.
But as a kid, it was just like, I just remember staring at him like,
Dude, when I was 8
eat
years
those
old.
Big Macs. He's living the life.
Yes.
When I was 8 years old, we all walked to school. I get in trouble. I have to stay after school. So by the time I'm walking back home, most of the other kids are gone. No big deal. This car pulls up beside me. It's the same thing. Don't talk to strangers.
Yeah.
And this is a fairly new housing construction area. So this guy pulls up, rolls down the window, and asks me if I want to ride. Okay, now I don't know this guy, and I'm not okay with this. And like I said, there's some debris from a construction area. So he's not being insistent, but I've said no thank you and have started to walk away. And now you're pacing me a little bit in the car, like, no, you can hop in, it's okay. So I grabbed, back in the day, glass bottle, and I always remember this. It was Dr. Pepper. And threw this thing through his open window and hit him right in the head. Like, I threw it, then I took off running, all right? So I'm cutting down all these side streets because I'm freaked the hell out now. Like, I just, whatever. So I don't see him, and finally, I'm just going to go home, all right? And as I'm walking toward my house, I now see that car in my driveway. And I know my mother's home. So I lose it. I'm only 8 years old, but I lose my mind. Come charging into the house because in my mind, I'm going to kill this dude. And he's messing with my mom. Here he is with a paper towel on his head.
Oh, bad guys.
He's sitting at the kitchen table, and my mother's like, did you hit him with a bottle? I'm like, yeah. She explains who he is. Mm-hmm. To this day, a very close family friend. They were in town actually not that long ago.
Oh, I'm sure he reminded you of that.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Who was looking for what and why? 844-999-OLA.
Hey, man, at least my mom knew I listened.
I know I've asked this. Do your kids still have a code word?
Code word?
Yeah.
Should they have a code word for what, man? I don't even know what to do.
In case somebody like that, he could have dropped the code word, and then you would have been like, oh.
I'm from West Virginia, so I give my kids a safety word.
No, man, I hadn't even thought of a code word. What should it be? So what is it? So, like, if you're going to pick them up, like, look, man.
That was just always my mom's thing. Like,
Terry White dude's going to pick your ass up today if he
both my
says, like,
parents
peanut
work.
butter. Yeah.
Right. Then if he said the code word, you'd be fine.
Okay.
Who was looking for what and why? 844-999-OLA.
I'm going to mess with them. The code word is the.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Don. Welcome to the men's room. Hello, Don.
Dan.
Oh,
Hola.
yeah. So, let me get off speaker here. There. Oh, there we are. Okay.
All right, very good, Don.
Anyway, yeah, thank you. This is Toothless Don, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Toothless Don, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good today.
Good news, good news.
Yes. Anyway, when I was it was like in the late 80s, we lost 2.5 kilos of cocaine.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Just walking down the street and they fell out of your pocket?
Yeah, somewhere. No, we were crashing out of my friends. He was he was in, we were in thirds, but we woke up in the morning, he couldn't remember where he put it.
Wait, you said 2 kilos of cocaine. He doesn't remember where he put it?
Yeah, it took us about 2.5 hours before we found it. He had taken the speaker out of the Speaker Lab 7s and put it inside the speaker and screwed the speaker back in.
All right, okay.
The amazing part of the story is they had 2 kilos of cocaine and they went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How many days were you out partying before you crashed, Don?
Oh, who knows?
Okay. All right.
Good times,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I thought you were going to call and say, well, you're looking for your teeth.
I like it.
Who was looking for what and why? 844-999-OLA.
Maybe if his mother kept his baby teeth,
Then he could
said,
be
look,
having put him back in.
It's not going to look awesome, but look, these are your options, all right?
Look like teeny tiny mouth guy.
He said he's missing the bottom teeth. Right?
Mhm, yeah.
All right, so you got your adult-sized top teeth. You go like, Mom, you still got those baby teeth. She says, I sure do, baby. I need them back. Right? So you just have the little chiclets on the bottom, but at least you have something.
You'd think that science-wise you'd be able to grow back a tooth if you needed one.
But it's a bone,
You know what I mean?
man.
Like if I'm a lizard and I like lose an arm, I can grow one back, right? Like
No,
surely science
you
can
can lose your tail.
I can lose my tail, right? Yeah.
And, well, it depends on the lizard.
If I'm like a
Not all of them.
salamander, I
That's
can,
a
if I'm a
specific
salamander, I can grow
lizard.
back my arm, right?
Do they?
I think so, yeah.
No, do they?
So, well, you'd think you'd be able to like grow new teeth, right? I mean, they can grow like a nose on your shoulder if you
That's
need
true.
one.
But it's not bone, man.
You know
Yeah.
what, man? Maybe you could grow like teeth, but you have to grow them on a certain part of your body.
Right,
And
you gotta
then
grow 'em
they
on your
take
inner
'em,
thigh.
And then they put them back in your mouth. So you have like a tooth farm on your thigh. You know what I mean?
farm.
For like a year while you're growing those bad boys, and then they put them in. There's hope for you, Don. Who is looking for what and why? 844-999-OLA.
Again, I'm not
Yes,
trying to be
there's
mean.
hope for you. You can grow teeth on your inner thigh.
Or you could just get dentures.
Yeah, you could.
But it's not
Yeah,
that crazy.
that's
People
too easy.
lose their teeth. And they're not growing them on their thighs.
I just think he should ask his mom for his baby teeth.
Oh, no.
Hello, Cody. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Hey, you guys do a great job and a good job.
Hey,
Thank you, man.
Yeah. So I was looking for a gun that was stolen from my mom's house.
A gun that was stolen from your mom's house.
That is correct.
What kind of gun are you looking for?
It was a 9mm, a Glock 43.
Was this one of the items that was stolen from your mom's, or was it specifically the one item that was taken?
Actually, there was 2 items, but they left behind some Apple products, so I kind of thought maybe there were some young kids knowing that we can track that, you know?
Oh, I see. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's pretty smart. So you're just thinking neighborhood kids.
Yeah, well, actually, so my brother was kind of a hooligan, well, is a hooligan. He had recently lost his keys, I mean, like days before, and there was no forced entry into the house. So, you know, I kind of put 2 and 2 together. Anyways, we do all the stuff you're supposed to do, call the cops, they did the report and all that stuff. Anyways, months go by. My brother tells me, hey, my buddy posted a video of him with this Glock 43 on Facebook. And so him being my brother, he just comments on the video and doesn't tell me about it at first. The kid instantly deletes the video, being somewhat smart. So I'm like, all right, I call, I report it again. I guess they went and talked to him. And then months go by. My brother hears that the guy sold it. So at that point, man, I think it was like 6 months. I was like, I'm doing my own detective work. I tried to friend the kid on Facebook that originally had the gun. He didn't, respond to me. I didn't get a request back. So I started going other routes. He had a airsoft team on his Facebook that he was a part of. So I messaged him, hey, man, I'd love to be on your airsoft team, all this. And somebody responds back to me, and I'm like, look, I need to talk to this kid. Can you give me his number or give him my number, whatever? And then the kid gives me a call saying that his house got shot up, and he was pretty sure it was about the gun and all this. Said, absolutely not. I had nothing to do with that. But, tell me about this gun, what happened to it. And, man, he gave me the whole lowdown. Told me where he got it, who he gave it to, and everything. So I report all that stuff, and nothing happens. So I go get in contact with the kid he said he gave the gun to, which was at a tattoo parlor shop in Parkland.
All right.
And so it was a little sketchy, Parkland's not the nicest neighborhood, and I'm looking for a gun. So I didn't really know how to confront this guy. Anyways, I go there. He's outside smoking a cigarette. I figured, perfect. No confrontation on the inside of his job. I didn't want to mess up his stuff going on,
Sure. Did he give you the gun back?
Well, he did in the end, but at first...
Oh, God, that had to hurt.
I thought he'd do,
Oh, you mean he gave it back to you?
Sorry, misunderstood.
I thought you meant stuck. All right. Who was looking for what and why? 844-999. More your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Turn to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
38-year-old guy named Brandon Briggs from West Jordan, Utah. And on Saturday night, the cops pulled him over on his motorcycle. But it turns out it was stolen. So Brandon then took off. And the cops were about to start chasing him until one of them realized that they recognized Brandon. So instead of following him, they just drove to his house. Meanwhile, Brandon was speeding away, probably thinking he just intimidated the cops with his killer speed and sick driving, until he got home an hour later and found them waiting in his driveway. He was arrested for possession of a stolen vehicle, failure to stop, and a parole violation. Our question, who was looking for what and why? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Cole. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
Oh, man, this is so cool to be on the show. Great job, you guys.
Well, thank you, man.
Okay, so, I just did that. I wanted to not be the guy that says so at the beginning of their story, and here I am.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Never would have
So
noticed.
here's what happened.
But now we do, and it is annoying. He's
yeah.
right. Really shouldn't have started.
It is.
So,
I just
Why don't
did
you
it,
ask
so I know
us,
better.
my touch 'em all, ask us how we're doing.
How are you?
Oh, great. Thanks for asking.
Mind
How
your
are
own
you?
business.
Oh, it's good. It's just hot in Tacoma.
Oh, yeah, I know you're going to blame about the hot. We got to talk about how we're doing. No, we know all of the tricks.
Right. Okay, here we go. So, my grandma...
Did it again.
dude,
I
you
mean,
say
damn it.
so?
You just started the story with so
We got to eliminate it.
again.
This is a crutch. We got to get rid of it.
You just did it twice in a row. I mean, you didn't get to the story, and you started with so. You did it twice in a row.
It's impossible. I don't know how to avoid it.
What happened was,
Who was looking for what and why?
My grandma...
All
was looking
right.
There we go. Now I got it. Okay. Let's do it. My grandma was looking for her hair.
Her hair?
She had a hair clipping that she had lost when she was young, and she didn't know what happened to it. She had got it clipped when she was young. That was a thing they did back in the 30s, I guess. And it was hidden away somewhere. No one knew where it was. She went her whole life not knowing where it was and wanting to find it. And when she got to the end of her life, she really, really wanted to find it, and we couldn't do it. And so she died. She couldn't find it. And it turns out that one of her older sisters, who had also died, was hiding away the hair. And the reason we know that is because one of the sister's daughters found it and let my mom know about it. So we finally found the hair after 75 years, and guess what? It looked perfect. It didn't look like it had aged or deteriorated or anything.
Do you realize that hair's already dead?
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of thought it might look a little different after 75 years.
Hey,
That
man.
seems like a long time.
Well-
This is a very weird story.
It is.
It's so like
I thought it would be
why
a good fit.
why did your grandmother's sister? How spiteful are you when you hide hair?
That is a good question that we could never ask. She was jealous of my grandma's hair color. She had
Wait a
beautiful
minute, wait.
red hair, and
So you're
my
saying
grandma's sister was always jealous.
she was so jealous of your grandmother's hair color that she stole the baggie of hair and hid it from her.
It sounds amazingly ridiculous when
Yes.
you say it that way, but that's pretty much the shape of it.
Yeah, man, that is
Okay.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Man, oh
Do I
man.
win an award?
Who was looking for what and why? 844-999 Ola.
He slipped that in just to be creepy at the end.
Oh yeah.
Do I want an award? So you don't.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I cut them slack. If that's the stock you're coming from, right? Your genetic order is coming from
right.
a pair of sisters, and one of them is so jealous of the other one's hair color, even into adulthood. I mean, that you're hiding a bag of hair.
That is weird.
That's really weird, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Also, when he said he was looking for his grandma's hair, at first I was like part of her weave.
Yeah, I pictured her being bald.
It was-
That's
right,
when he
exactly.
first said it. Like,
It's one of those-
Grandma's wig is
It's
around.
all like a styrofoam. It's like on a styrofoam bust head in her bedroom. Who was looking for what and why? 844-999 Ola.
man, oh man. Hello, Michael. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, hola, bicholas.
Hola.
Just got to start off by saying I was stationed in JBLM, Washington for 4 years. Now I'm streaming you guys from the radio.com app down in Fort Carson.
Nice.
Oh, nice,
man. All right, very cool. We appreciate that.
And I'm glad the goddamn thing works.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, absolutely.
According to our email, it's
anyway-
a crap and everyone hates us.
No, mine actually works.
Thank God.
I don't know. I've been reading the reviews.
Okay, cool.
But anyways,
We don't want to read.
Last
Don't read
month-
the reviews to us.
Yeah.
Mine actually worked.
So-
What is this crap?
So last month before I actually got here, on vacation down to Walt Disney World with the family. So, and before I actually got married and had my first child 4 years ago, I've been deployed. I've been through, really bad situations, getting in gunfights, whatever. This is probably the most scared I've ever been in my entire life.
Hold it right there.
Hold on.
Hold on
Hold
for
it.
2 seconds. We just got to do a little station identification. We'll get back to you on that one.
And we want a
Very
break
cool.
from you. I mean, let's just be honest.
Who was looking for what and why? 844-999 Ola. Ryan Castle, drunk in charge. Coming up. Sit and Spins on the way.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.